we're looking at one more Tezuka film this month, and boy do I have opinions on it. Having written character-driven stories like Astro Boy, Game of the White Lion, and Blackjack, Tezuka's techniques in storytelling, focusing much on the art of the characters rather than the art of the art, helped push forward what it means to evoke emotional draws to a stern, isolationist, withdrawn Japanese audience that was still common even in Japan's Reconstruction. So I guess it's fitting that the first movie his other production company would produce would be an artistic, highly emotional experience. Phoenix 2772 is Tezuka Productions' first theatrical solo project. Based on Tezuka's Phoenix manga, which I've never read, it's an ethereal, emotionally driven work that has Tezuka's fingerprints all over it. And like fingerprints on a lot of nice looking shiny things, it really needs polishing. The story follows a boy, Godo, and his android guardian Olga. Godo is a pilot for Earth, a dying planet suffering from political discourse and a lack of resources. He's sent on a mission in space to capture the legendary Phoenix, a bird that can potentially revive the planet to its lush green and sacrifice for his blood. Problem is, Godo loves living creatures and tries to elope with a politician's fiancée. For his crimes of being a cucking hippie, he's sent to a labor camp where he meets another prisoner and the two escape in search of the Phoenix so they can save the Earth. Which is weird, wasn't he just opposed to that? Anyway, that's where I should stop because it only gets more complicated from there on. The movie is, to put it simply, overloaded. There's always something happening, whether it's story-wise or animation-wise. The movie doesn't really allow the viewer to slow down and take a breather much. It's always running the story through complicated loops of events or constant pointless exposition that we already know or don't need to know. And while this is the only major problem with the film, it's a major portion of the film too. I'll give it this is not an easy story to tell, and honestly, it's still a really good film, but there's just too much of it. Of random filler, of needless explanation, of jagged pacing all over the place. It doesn't slow down until the end of the film, which we'll get to soon. Just about everyone's a watered down trope, but they're fine enough. You see the classic Tezuka-isms in them, like the good-natured hero, the practical but cynical sidekick, the blustering big baddie. All standard and not too inventive, but at least fill the roles nicely. Of course, about everything else is serviceable. The animation is Tezuka, who is a revolutionary pioneer of animation techniques. The music is fun, if not a bit weird at times. The action, where it serves a purpose, is good, and the environmental message is well executed for what it had to go through. But it goes through a lot. The pacing and cramming of the film's elements are very tight and unkempt. It's always moving, sometimes distracting, and never boring, for better and worse. While it works in some scenes, most of the time, it's overwhelming in trying to get you to constantly watch rather than actually narrate the story in a compelling and identifiable way. That is, except for the first and last 10 minutes. The beginning of the movie and the finale of the movie, I argue, are the best parts of the film. Drawn in atmosphere and subtle pacing that is divergent to the rest of the flick, the first and last 10 minutes of the movie are satisfactory in their own weird ways. The former is timed well in showing how Godo grows up in an isolated environment with a robot with little to no dialogue, while the latter is practically the only time where the movie slows down rightfully, and lets the message settle in, which is a very powerful theme, especially nowadays. If I'm being honest, it's these last moments of the movie that save it from being a skippable part of Tezuka's filmography. They do belong in an art house or something. Seriously, it's as beautiful as it is confusing. I think if you're a Tezuka fan, an animation fan, or a Daft Punk fan, it's a good watch. I definitely don't hate it, it's a good movie that just has a lot going on. And with that, if you find zigzagging, weaving, almost filler-esque films problematic, I'd still say give the first 10 minutes a try to see if it's worth it, because trust me, the end certainly is. Just like a phoenix, even if the film seems dead, it still arises to deliver a beautiful image one last time.